Madam Mayor, I have 6:30 on my time if you'd like to get started. I would just ask that anybody with a laptop or a mobile device, if they can turn off the speakers so that we don't have feedback. Oh. Huh. All right. Give me 1 second. Okay.
Good evening, everybody. This is our budget hearing commission meeting on Wednesday, September 29th at 6:30. Roseanne, would you call the roll, please?
Sure. Mayor Halpin,
Present.
Vice Mayor Hammerberg, Commissioner Gonzalez,
Here.
Commissioner Kennedy,
I'm here.
Commissioner Samaria.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Samaria, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hoorah.
Thank you. Ordinance 2021-11, millage rate. Valerie, would you read that, please?
An ordinance of the Village Commission. An ordinance of the Village Commission of the Village of Biscayne Park, Florida, establishing the 2022 millage rate at 9.50 mils for each $1,000 of assessed valuation upon real and personal property within the village limits of the Village of Biscayne Park, providing for an effective date.
Thank you. We'd like to open the floor for public comments. Please raise your hand if you're on Zoom, or any of the people in the audience to please signal that you want to speak on it. And remember, it's 3 minutes, not more than that. Roseanne, I'll turn it over to you so you can see who's on Zoom.
I don't see anyone so far, Mayor.
This gentleman wants to speak.
If there's anyone present who'd like to make a public comment, please come to the podium.
Step up and state your name and your address, please.
Sir.
At the podium.
My name is Jorge Malagum. I think this is the first time you see me here. My address is 1030 Northeast, 111th Street. Can you hear me well?
You can bring the microphone a little bit closer to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here you're saying that the millage rate would be 9.7 this year?
Mic check 1, 2, mic check. Hold it.
I was saying if for this present year or the coming year. the
Excuse
millage
me,
rate-
maybe it would be, we could hear better if you pull the mask down for just while you're speaking. Thank you.
Okay, so what I was saying is if for the coming year, the milling rate will be 9.7. No? What
For-
would be? What are you proposing to be?
No, he said for many years,
No.
For the coming year? For this year that we are gonna pay,
reducing it.
9.5.
it went down
Yes.
to 9.5.
That's what we're voting on tonight, the 9.5.
Oh, I see. Okay, on that, I'm agree. Yes. Yes, I'm agree.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You gonna jump on another issue here or I mean, another thing to say about this proposed budget? Okay,
Only on the budget, sir.
so I'll
yeah.
wait then. Yes.
Is there anybody else in the audience that would like to make a comment with regard to the millage rate? Okay, is there anyone via Zoom who would like to make a comment on the millage rate? Madam Mayor, I see no comments.
Okay, then I guess there's no commission reply to citizens' comments. Is there any? Okay, Mario, you would like to speak?
Yes, Mayor.
First, we have to close public comments. Okay, Mario?
Yeah.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, and neighbors of Biscayne Park, thank you once again. Humbly submitted to you all for second reading is a millage rate proposed by staff at 9.5 with an accompanying budget that will be read after this ordinance. I wanted to set a little bit of a background of how we got here for any of our neighbors who are joining us for the first time. In fiscal year 2020, 2021, the millage rate was a 9.7 and the taxable value was for 249 million. For fiscal year 2021 and 2022, the taxable value increased to approximately 270 million, which is about an 8.4% increase. Our budget notes that we are budgeting to receive 95% of the ad valorem revenue, which is best practice in common with government financing. For the village, this means that the village is estimated to receive 2.4 million from the ad valorem taxes, which also make up about 72% of the village total revenue that we collect. Although there is a taxable value increase of 8.4, our revenue is only seeing an increase of about 3%. And this is due to having budgeted in 2020 with 100% collection of ad valorem. Now, the reason this was recommended by staff last year was because there was a lot of uncertainty with COVID and how that would impact state revenues and the sharing of state and county funds. So again, for your consideration, we have a budget with a millage of 9.5, which is a reduction from 9.7, so a 0.2. The overall, this provides approximately $19,000 increase in the ad valorem revenue. We went through several steps to get here. In April 2021, we had an executive workshop that was open to the public to discuss the various priorities that each of you had as a commissioner, which helped guide me in preparing for the budget. In July of 2021, staff prepared and presented to the commission a budget with a 9.5 millage. Leading up to that, I met with all of you. Then again in August, we again met with everyone and compiled a list of changes that each commissioner would like to see at the August 19th budget workshop. And that was presented then. On August 19th, each potential budget change was discussed and a consensus was made for each item from each commissioner. This kept the millage rate at a 9.5, although there were additions and deletions to various budget line items. On September 7th, the first budget hearing, and as required by law, there were some changes made and presented by staff. Some of those changes were state revenue was identified to come in lower than what was originally anticipated. To account for the lower revenue, staff made recommendations, predominantly removing various amounts within the contingencies, while also maintaining various commission requested items and approximately $22,000 towards our general fund or our reserves. This budget also provides more than $2.8 million in the general fund balance or reserves. Typically, the village has used these funds in case of hurricanes or other disasters. When we began our journey together, it was my goal to revamp this process to be more efficient and transparent. Tonight, I believe we've come to completion of the first phase of this budget process. There are still many improvements that can be made and more things that we can do, but I think we're on the right track. As always, I'd like to thank each of you for your guidance and your collaboration. I'd like to thank our staff who has spent several months helping me put this budget together, as well as our finance consultants and our attorneys as well. Thank you all, and I'm available for any questions if you have.
Madam Mayor,
Thank you.
Madam Mayor,
Mr. Samaria?
I'd like to make a motion to accept ordinance 2021-11 and millage rate for FY 2021 and 2022.
Is there a second to that? Vice Mayor Hammelberg seconded that. Any discussion? Any discussion?
Yes.
Thank you. To say something.
Kennedy?
Well, I think Dan was trying to say something first.
I'm sorry?
Yeah,
I think Dan was trying to say something first.
I like to see if the commission would want to take up to where we don't have on this, since we have had it during the whole time. If we have a motion to, where commission would decide not to go forward with lowering the millage rate at 9.3, as Commissioner Kennedy go forward. If the rest of the commission want to still have a discussion, then that's fine. But I would like to get a motion, see if people want to have that discussion. Thank you.
Well, I have something I want to discuss, and I'm not certain that you can vote to not let people discuss something. So Valerie, Dan would like to request that we don't allow discussion on this item. Is that allowed, to not allow discussion on an item?
There's,
It would be open up to discussion. You can limit the time for discussion. There's a consensus of the commission to limit the time, but you.
Got it. Okay, so Dan, you can't tell us we can't discuss something. So, Ginny, if I may?
go ahead, Commissioner Kennedy.
Okay, so this is the first time I'm talking in this microphone, so I feel a little bit awkward here, and I'm not certain if you can all.
Sorry?
It's the first time I'm speaking into the microphone, and I'm not certain if you can all hear me. Okay,
Okay.
I'll lean in a little bit. So first, I want to say congratulations and thanks to Mario and staff again, because they really did just complete a concise and very productive budget process for us. We added several major projects, as Mario stated. He reorganized some things for us. We created the village's first emergency reserve, which I hope to get codified next month, so look forward to that. And at the same time, we all approved to decrease the millage rate from 9.7 to 9.5, which is what we're going to discuss now. The dollar amount, however, everyone should be clear, the dollar amount that any individual property will save is really nominal at best. So after our first reading, I went home, and I mean, truly, guys, I went home and I sat down and I said, okay, it's done. Can we do better? We still have another couple of weeks to go through this process. Can we do better? And I sat down and I looked at the budget again, because I really wanted to make sure we were doing the very best job we can do. Tonight is not a perfunctory meeting. It's not a rubber stamp opportunity for the budget. And I really thought if there's an opportunity to do better by our residents and decrease the rate even more, we should look at that. So I sat down and I went through the budget line by line. I added my suggestions as a backup to the item, so you all have had a chance to see that, and the public can see it as well. So I want to discuss decreasing the millage rate even more. Let's be clear that the millage reduction is possible in large measure because of the increasing taxable values of the village property, and that's taking place because of what's happening in the market, and also investments that newer residents are coming in and making to the village and increasing our taxable values, and the improvements that current residents are doing as well. If we can do better by our residents by further reducing the millage tonight, I think we owe that to them for the investments they're making in this village. I say we can, and I sat down to try to figure out a way to make that happen. And that's what I've put together for a group consideration tonight. My proposal doubles the millage reduction from the current 9.7 all the way down to 9.3 instead of 9.5. So I'm suggesting we decrease from 9.7 to 9.3. We can double down and double the millage decrease. And I want to show you that we can do it without diminishing services to this community, without cutting staff or reducing staff compensation. To be clear, we can do this at second reading tonight per Florida law. I had that discussion with Mario and with Valerie, and Mario confirmed with the state that we do have the authority tonight to change the millage rate and still make changes to our budget. We are not here to rubber stamp what we already voted on once. I sat down with Mario twice and I went over my initial proposal, which I will say was more extensive cuts. It wasn't cutting more money, it was just cutting money in more places. Mario, and I sat with him and said, Mario, this is what I'm thinking. Help me here understand if all of this or some of this or none of this could happen. Mario took a couple of days. He went through my proposal by himself. He talked to his department heads and he came back to me. We met a second time and he explained why some of the cuts couldn't be made at all, why some of them could be made, but they should probably be smaller. And he also came back and he suggested bigger cuts in some areas that would be possible. And he even offered cuts in other areas that I had not defined. So it was a process I went through with Mario and he was very helpful in the process. I learned a lot. What you're looking at tonight is a final proposal that includes Mario's requests and suggestions, all included in that proposal. And Mario confirmed to me that this is doable for us to achieve tonight, and that the budget, if we changed it to the 9.3 millage and adjusted the budget accordingly, he could make it work. I want to remind you guys a couple of things, that Mario always has the ability to move money within departmental budgets. He has that authority on his own to move money around inside a department. He also has the ability, as do all managers, to come to the commission and ask for additional changes throughout the year. That has happened. But this is what organizations do when they're finalizing a budget. When you think you got it as good as you can get it, you go back and you look at it one more time and you say, how can we still get this job done? How can we get it done as well or better? And where could we cut and get it done for less? I work for a guy who owns a company for 50 plus years. Every year when we think we have the budget done, he says, Mac, go cut some more out and tell me how you're going to increase our sales and you're going to do it with less money. That's what organizations do. So let me explain to you exactly what I did. And this is, if anyone in the audience wants to look at this, you can go on the Village website right now. You can pull up my proposal. Mario, if you wanted to share it on the screen, you're certainly welcome to. It's on the agenda backup. If you want to put the PDF up, it's easier to see what I'm talking about. So to double the millage deduction, I want to give you the number we need to cut. To double the millage deduction, all we need to cut from our budget is $51,320, and we double the millage reduction. That is a decrease of 1.54% of our total expenditures. That's all I'm proposing we do. We cut 1.54%, we double the millage decrease. I trimmed a little bit in lots of places. You'll see some of the cuts that I propose. Some are very small. Some are a couple of $100. So talking about taking a budget of 20, let's look at one, $2,000 budget and decreasing it to $1,900, cutting $100 out. I did little cuts like that all over the budget. And I came up with $51,000 we can cut out of this budget. It's little pieces of fat all over the place. In administration, the total deduction is 0.8%. In the police and code department, which is the smallest cut I'm proposing, is 0.2%. In public works, it's 2.1%. Parks and Rec is 3.6%. And a big chunk of that one is because I'm proposing to forego part of the rec center plan that we have yet to fund. The merit increase, cutting that to 1.5%. Just so everyone's clear, in the salary for non-police staff, there's a 3% cost of living adjustment budgeted. There's also a 3% merit increase budgeted. So it's 3% cost of living, 3% merit. It's a total of 6% that Mario has to work with. This is one of the areas that Mario suggested we could make a cut in to replace some of the other cuts that I suggested that Mario said would not be as feasible. So just to be clear, I'm not suggesting we cut it completely. I'm saying reduce it from a 3% to 1.5%. That is money that is budgeted for Mario to use to give merit increases to staff as he sees fit throughout the year. Those are not budgeted required increases. Now, the one more significant cut in terms of percentage that you'll see, but is not a large dollar amount, is in the commission budget. So that is the budget that funds this commission for the work we do. That's our pay. Just so everyone listening at home and here in the audience understands, we get paid to do this job. Commissioners in the Village of Biscayne Park get paid $2,000 a year to do this job. It comes to $167 a month is what we get paid to do the work. The people sitting up here with me know that a few months ago, I tried to get that cut to zero because I thought we should do it for the love of our community, and that's the dedication. Look, $167 a month isn't even paying my light bill. So it's not like it's a big deal. But that didn't get passed. So what I'm suggesting is, and I'm saying fittingly, if we want residents to help residents with a tax millage deduction and to ask every department to contribute, the commission, the 5 of us sitting up here, should contribute the most. So if we want to double your tax deduction, we should contribute the most. I am not suggesting that we cut our compensation completely. I am suggesting that we reduce our compensation by 25%. Instead of getting paid $2,000 a year, we would get paid $1,500 a year, and that's a difference of $42 a month. What I'm suggesting is the 5 people sitting up here would contribute $42 a month from their pay to help double the decrease in our millage rate. Let me finish by saying, and then I want to hear what you guys think, obviously. It's my opinion that residents deserve every opportunity, residents deserve our every effort to elevate the village and to do it more efficiently when possible. And I think we can be more efficient here tonight. Tonight is possible. And they deserve us to push hard for them until the very end. Tonight is the very end of the process. And I say we lean on this and we make this happen for the residents of the village. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Kennedy. It's a shame that you didn't work with us when we were trying to reduce it and you were refusing to reduce it. Is there any other comments from the
And that's a
commissioners?
mischaracterization of what happened. So
The
if people can
only
go back and
comment-
look at the.
The only
the
comment I'm gonna
meeting if they
make
want to.
is that I do remember commission at the last commission meeting criticized 3 commissioners because we were trying to lower the millage down from 9.5, that we were not doing our job as commissioners. That's all I'm gonna be saying about that. And it's kind of, I can lower it. If you want to really go lower, I can get this down to 9.0. I think right now at this budget, it's just 9.5 is good. And we can do that for the next meeting. We had workshop, we had a budget meeting. We went down this clearly and everybody gave their suggestions. Now, all of a sudden, when we're going to vote on it in the second reading, that we find other stuff to do. And if you're going to do that, I'll be glad to lower it down to 9.0. But I think it's,
Okay, any other comments,
I need to
Commissioner?
respond to him since he directed something at me.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Okay.
I would like to speak. And yes, Mac,
The mic, please.
wait a minute, maybe I have to put it here. No, it shouldn't. Do you hear me? Yeah. Okay. In the last meeting, you did get on everybody's case about wanting to drop the millage. So it's quite a surprise to us that you're trying to drop it even more. The tradition of this city has been, our infrastructure has been left to rot. Our buildings need a lot of work. Our employees are some of the lowest paid in the county. If we want to keep good employees and we want to hire people who are decent, we have to pay a fair salary. If we want to buy a police car, we have to budget for the police car. Putting in 2/3 of the budget for a police car doesn't give us a police car. We've got roads that are a mess. We've got flooding happening. We need to take care of our infrastructure, our buildings, and I think 9.5 has my vote. And I can't see cutting it anymore. Personally, I've been talking to the mayor about giving my salary back to the village, and we're working on a system to do that. But I don't think everybody has the same resources I have, and it's up to each person to decide what they can do. But I think as a commission, we should be given something for the time, the effort, the work, and the money we put into it. And our choices after that are our choices, not anybody else's, because $2,000 a year is not much of anything. But for the infrastructure of this village, I think we need to keep the budget where it's been set.
Thank you. Commissioner Gonzalez, do you
Yes.
have any?
Just want to say a couple of things. So last week I was out on vacation. When I got back and I saw Commissioner Kennedy's memo, I was actually very happy because I'm all for lowering the millage as much as possible. If we can get into the 8s at some point, that would be fantastic. I'm all for efficiency in government. And I know it's a difficult, those two words don't really go along together. I, like them also, Mac, I think was under the impression that you were also advocating for 9.7. So I was kind of surprised that you wanted to go even lower than 9.5. But having said that, I was very happy. You know how I feel about compensation, so I don't have a problem with that. Having said that, I did speak to the manager in regards to the things that you had proposed. And while he said it's doable, an 8.75 millage is doable. The problem is that there are certain things that are going to be affected negatively. And he does not, the manager at this point does not recommend lowering the millage any lower than 9.5. So I'm going to stick with what the manager says.
Thank you. Roseanne, would you call the roll? I'd like to move
Jeannie,
the
but
question.
If I may, I want to respond to something.
I don't know that we
It's
can
not gonna,
reply.
it's not gonna fly, so let me just say something quickly. Just to be clear, I objected to the way we got to the millage rate. I didn't object to the millage rate per se. And it's not gonna fly, so just let me say this. But Judy, regarding infrastructure and the other things you listed, I share those same concerns. And I want to make sure they're all budgeted for as well. But I hope you took the time to actually look at the cuts that I suggested, because they're so small in so many places. And I didn't touch a police car, so I'm not sure where you got that information. I didn't do anything about on defunding for a police car. But if you look at the cuts, those cuts are so small that I can promise you a year from now, we're gonna be sitting here looking at the end of year budget and seeing that most of these things didn't get spent down to what I'm talking about anyway. And we'll look back and go, yep, we could have made that cut. We should have made that cut. And then we'd be one step closer to getting it even lower. Let me finish. And I want to lower the rate too. I just want to make sure things are funded. And my objection was to the process that we went through. At no time did anyone come in here, Dan, it's a little disingenuous of you to say, I'll cut it to 9.0, because I never heard you say that in a meeting. You never put forth a proposal, Dan, to lower it to 9.0 and say, and here's how we can do it. I went home and I sat down and said, where can we cut? I sat down and did the hard work. And I came up with a way to do it. So next time, Dan, you want to lower it to a specific rate, go home and do your work, roll up your sleeves, open up a spreadsheet.
Okay, let's
and make the
be
cuts.
on the point.
That's why Commissioner.
Okay, excuse me, there's no answering back. Roseanne, would you please call the roll for the ordinance 2021-11, the millage rate?
Okay, Mayor Halpin,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hammerberg,
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Samaria.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay,
Motion
that's-
passed 5-0. Thank you.
Okay, ordinance 2021-12, the budget. Valerie,
An ordinance of the Village Commission of the Village of Biscayne Park, Florida, adopting a budget for fiscal year 2021, 2022 for the Village of Biscayne Park, Florida, providing for conflicts, providing for severability.
Is there public?
thank you. I'd like to open the floor for public comments on 2021-12. Go right ahead. Go to the podium, please.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Is there a mic?
Yeah, the microphone so that
People
people,
at home can't hear you if you're not speaking at the mic. Thank you.
right.
I was gonna ask,
Do your name and your address again, please.
Jorge Malagon. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Jorge Malagon, 1030 Northeast, 111th Street. I was gonna ask, finally, what was the adopted millage? You guys bought it, right? Just
9.5.
9.5.
Right.
9 point what?
9.5.
5. Oh, so.
As we said, it's a start.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, is there anybody else present here that would like to speak on the budget? Okay, Roseanne, you want to check the Zoom?
I'm doing it. Hold on.
You want, excuse me a second, sure. Just state your name and your address.
For those residents who are on Zoom, if you can raise your hand on Zoom, it's on the bottom right. You have a little 3 dots that you can raise your hand on so that we can identify you if you'd like to make any comments. Thank you. Your name and address for the record, sir.
Lawrence Pena, 831 Northeast 109th Street.
You just muted it.
We can't be perfect.
Just need to bring it a little bit closer to you, sir.
Lawrence Pena, 831 Northeast 109th Street. Forgive me for not being informed. Is there the detail of or financial statements for every year posted anywhere?
Yes, it's on our website.
Thank you. Roseanne?
I don't see anybody raising hand, Mayor. No other public,
Okay,
no other public comments.
no public comments. Any commission comments?
I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance 2021-12 budget FY 2021-2022.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any comments from the commissioners? Commissioner Samaria, do you have anything to say?
The only thing I want to say is that I want to congratulate the city manager and staff and this commission for doing the budget. I do agree with Commissioner Kennedy. I think we can get it better, but I think that can be done at our next budget. We can always find savings. So I am for lowering the millage. So that's it.
I would like to thank Mario for his hard work. He put in a tremendous amount of work and got a few extra gray hairs over this. Thank you very much. And thank you, Roseanne, for all the help you put in as well.
Commissioner Gonzalez? Commissioner Kennedy?
No, I'm good, thanks.
Okay, Roseanne, did you want to call a vote?
Sure.
2021-12.
Mayor Halpin,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Himmelberg,
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Samaria.
Yes.
Motion passed 5-0. Thank you.
Okay, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I just want to take a moment. I want to say something to Roseanne because Roseanne Prado's leaving the village and she'll be attending our October 5th meeting next week. But this is the last time I'll be able to sit next to her at the meeting. I'll be zooming in, just so you're aware, Jenny, at the next meeting.
We thought maybe if we ignore this, that she won't go.
Well, when I got the
We're
email
hoping.
saying, when I got the email, my response was, I don't remember voting to approve this. So I make a motion to deny. And I was not, she did not
Yes,
respond
I-
favorably.
Unanimous.
So
wish
I
we
won't be
could.
here to say congratulations and thanks to Roseanne, so I want to say it tonight. I'm sure everyone will have nice things to say next Tuesday. I'll be zooming in, but I wanted to say it while I'm sitting here next to you, Roseanne. You were an enormous help to me when I became a commissioner last January. And I had a lot to learn very quickly. And it was a very hairy time in the village and you stepped up and you helped me an awful lot personally. And I just want to say I appreciate that and thank you very much. And best to you in your new position over at Indian Creek. Our loss is their gain. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yes, we will miss you, Roseanne. And I'm sure we'll have our own party with you. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Commissioner Samaria is a second.
I will second that, and I will also thank all the people for coming.